te puedes esconder.
Hay que atraparlo.
Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. ¿Dónde estás? Puedes correr.
Debemos
Sé que estás ahí. Te encontraré. Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. ¿Dónde estás? ¿Dónde estás? Sé que estás. Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. Sé que estás ahí.
Here we go.
¡Te voy a ¡matadlo!
Damn it.
falso.
That was beautiful. That's how you do Resident Evil 4 Remake, right?
Holy shit.
Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. Por Lord Saber. Te encontraré. ¿Dónde estás? Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. Por Lord Saber.
Debemos llevarse. Hay que atraparlo.
¿Dónde estás? Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. ¿Dónde estás? Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. Sé que estás ahí. ¿Dónde estás? Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. ¿Dónde estás? ¡Agarradlo!
Next.
¡Por detrás!
What? Yeah, you could actually die by someone grabbing you and poking your eyes out. Wow, that's new. Poking your eyes out. I guess that's something new. Also got to watch out for these chickens. I could give away my position. I'm pretty sure I could stealth all these enemies. It's very tricky.
Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. ¿Dónde estás? Sé que estás ahí. Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. Sé que estás ahí.
None left.
Oh, I like it. I like it. There are various different ways to get killed. Death animations, I like it. The original Resident Evil 4 had the same thing too, but I'm pretty sure the death animations was only for certain enemies, where it looks like there's death animations for every single enemy now.
Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. ¿Dónde estás? Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. Sé que estás ahí. Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. ¿Dónde estás? Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. ¿Dónde estás? Por Lord Side.
Yeah, I think I could get that one over there.
Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder.
I don't think I could get her here though.
Sé que estás ahí. Puedes correr. Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. Sé que estás ahí. ¿Dónde estás? Puedes correr, pero no te puedes esconder. Sé que estás ahí.
¡Ahí está!
Here we go.
¡Ah!
None left.
La campana. Alquimia de piedra.
Él los invoca. Tenemos que servir. Al Lord Sattler Todopoderoso.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
I'm glad they kept it. I was hoping that they wouldn't keep it. I mean, I wasn't hoping that they wouldn't keep it. I was hoping that, you know, they would decide not to keep it, but they kept it. Certain sayings they didn't keep from the original 4, but they kept it. They kept where's everyone going? Bingo. That's one of the most important parts of Resident Evil 4. They kept it. So the demo was good. The aiming was good. The R3 sensitivity you adjusted was good. It's better than that of Resident Evil 2. The difficulty, in regards to just the demo, I'm pretty sure that was normal mode. That was also good. Just understanding how the mechanics work. I like the sneak mechanics, making noise in order to lure enemies, as well as sneaking. Not sure if Resident Evil 4 originally had that. I know you could wait for an enemy to move, and then you could still kill them from number 4. But I don't think hide mechanic was probably one of the things that was possibly in original Resident Evil 4. Animations of characters is better than Resident Evil 2. The environments, the textures on the environments looks good with regards to pots and bricks and tables and stuff. Don't think it looks better than how a city would look, but in a rural country area, it looks exactly the way it should look. I like the fact that you could take off the motion blur. I like the fact that you can increase camera sensitivity and acceleration. I like the fact that you could, when you run into a wall, you could use your hand to brace the wall. I like the fact that you don't have to open doors. You could just plummet through doors just like you did in Resident Evil 2. And I believe this one, there was no vaulting out windows or through doors in Resident Evil 2, if I'm not mistaken. You could only go through doors. This one you could jump through windows and vault. So I like that is a feature that they kept from Resident Evil 4. About the only bad thing I would say with regards to the game is Hunnigan. They didn't show her in her little camera sense. They actually show her as an actual person. So in that visual mapping of Hunnigan, showing her comms, and that you're speaking to her through a comm device, you can actually see her face from a live feed. They took that away to show a real person. Now I don't know if that's completely gone and they're going to completely remove that from the game and they'll always show Hunnigan as a person. And if that's the case, then that's the one takeaway I would say that's from the game. Everything in this Resident Evil 4 is obviously far superior than the original Resident Evil 4. They kept the witty one-liners. They kept some of the scenes exactly the way they were in Resident Evil 4. Obviously, they changed certain things, such as the intro is far more interesting, showing how Leon got trained and everything, rather than just the voice acting of the characters stating what happened in Resident Evil 2 from the original Resident Evil 4 game. So everything was good. Everything was good. Everything smooth. The R3 was smooth. The L3 was smooth. The aiming of the gun was smooth. The shooting of the gun was smooth. There wasn't a lot of recoil with regards to the gun, and aiming the gun towards enemies wasn't that difficult this time around. It still was difficult because you have to aim exactly at where their legs is, but it was better with regard to aiming than it was in Resident Evil 2 Remake. So that improvement actually was better than that aiming than it was in Resident Evil 3 as well. So they fine-tuned the aiming from Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 3 Remake. So aiming is good as well. But there's not much to go on since this is a demo, but everything looks good. Textures, animation look good. The look of the character looks more real than the look of the character in Resident Evil 2. But then again, this looks more gritty than the character in Resident Evil 2. He looks more cleaner in Resident Evil 2. I'm not sure if that's due to his age, but he looks cleaner in Resident Evil 2. In this one, he looks, maybe it's due to the environment and the atmosphere and the use of lighting and use of shades and use of tears and blur. I wouldn't say blur effect, but more like rendering. It looks like a representation of how the original Resident Evil 4 is supposed to look, but if it was done today while still keeping the aesthetics of that Resident Evil 4. So it's like it got a new skin, but it didn't take away from the rendering and the blur effects and the tear and the tint, and as well as the shadings and color gradation and what else, and the shattering as well. So yeah, this game overall is good. The grunginess as well. It has a very grungy look. Yeah, so it's as a remake. Like if you've never played Resident Evil 4, the original one, as a remake, it plays smoother than Resident Evil 4. It has less one-liners, you know. The guy Leon kind of more gets straight into it with this than the original one. But here's the thing, this is just a demo. It just shows him going into the village and meeting someone, speaking to someone, and then the chainsaw section where you have to survive. So that's it. It didn't show the intro of the game and how he got out of the car, how he was speaking to the two policemen in the car, and how he got into the village. It just shows him at a location once you spawn in, and then you get to play inside of the chainsaw area. So it's very good. It's very good. I'm glad I actually bought it ahead of time, because I mean, even if it was a bad game, it's my favorite game in the series. Actually, Resident Evil 2 is my favorite game in the series. This is my favorite solo game in the series, where you get to play as one character. In RE2, you had to play two characters. Same as in RE1, you get to decide between one or two characters that you're going to play. But this is my favorite independent solo of the series, where you just get to play as one character. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. There's nothing else. Nothing else. The tutorial was normal. The Everything was self-explanatory. You probably didn't even need a tutorial. It's pretty easy. Took me about an hour and 9 minutes and 23 seconds. Simply because I died like 3 different ways. One by chainsaw, one by impaling, and one by my eyes being gouged out. So yeah, but I wasn't rushing through the game. I wanted to see how everything looks. The pot looks, the lighting looks. Yeah, it's good. And I also wanted to explore and look around at things and use the different buttons. Also, the switching from grenades and to weapons and to knife and stuff is very fluid. Go up, down. It's very fluid. It works. Yeah, I like it better than RE2. So, if anyone is interested in this game, like, is it better than the original? Mechanics wise, it's superior to the original. Mechanics wise, regards to movement. Obviously, it's been years, so obviously the mechanics is going to be good, but it's superior. It's not just good, it's superior to it. You don't have to press more than one button. You don't have to worry about struggling with turning. You don't have to worry about, picking up the pace when you're running. You don't have to worry about things looking non-realistic. When it comes to movement, takedowns is much quicker. The kicking animation is still about, I would say, about the same. Yeah, but it's superior to Resident Evil 4 mechanics wise and accessibility wise, including the map as well, to see where you are, where you got to go in the different levels. Is it like magnificent and fantastic, like 10 out of 10? No, I would say compared to the original Resident Evil 4 mechanics wise, it's a full 5 points above it. A full 5 points. Like 5 things within this game are superior to that of the original Resident Evil 4. The R3 turning, the run animation is more smoother. The map is better. The use of the weapons and the weapon wheel is better. And I would say, what would be that, the 5th thing? Or rendering is something they're supposed to do anyway, make things look good. But as play mechanics go, oh yeah, the use of the knife is faster. So aiming and use of knife, reloading, aiming, and use of knife. Well, actually, reloading is the same, but aiming of the weapon, sensitivity and aiming of the weapon, and using of the knife in order to stun enemies is much faster. In original Resident Evil 2 remake, they gave you the option to pop up on the screen, then you press it. Here, it's much quicker. It pops up on the screen. It waits for you to press the button, and then it disappears. It doesn't blink. It just shows up on the screen. You press the button, you do the move. Whereas the original Resident Evil 2 remake, I think it blinks to indicate that you're supposed to do melee. But this one is just stationary to be constant. And then boom, you do the melee executions. So use of the melee is, I believe, quicker. Or maybe I'm just seeing things. Maybe it isn't. But so far so good. And if the melee wasn't like the best part, then how the story was developed and showing Leon progress through the story, how he got trained, how he came here, how he spoke to the people in the village, and how they reacted to him as an intruder. That seemed to have been better. The one-liners, maybe there are more one-liners. But here's the thing about the melee though. The original one didn't have combos to the melee. So you couldn't do combos to a kick or something. The melee has combos here. So thankfully finally you could do melee combos with your weapon rather than just doing one slash animation. You could do 1, 2, 3 with a different animation. Now, is it combo as in it's the combo? The knife has a combo mechanic so that the damage increase over time based on how many swings? I don't know yet. This is just a demo. But if that's not the case, it's just a different animation for you doing the knife, then it's just the same knife swing in one direction. You're just doing it in many different ways, which is just something a little bit nice than the standard static way of doing things. But there are other things I'm pretty sure that's going to be better. But the four main ones that I saw that was good was R3, look sensitivity 2, movement. With regards to looking at things and moving, the movement pick up pretty fast. He runs a little bit faster than he did in R2, RE2 remake. Or maybe he does run the same, I'm not seeing, but it feels a little bit smoother. 3, the map is better than that of RE2. You can move it around, switch different positions. And 4, the weapon reel seems to be more easily accessible and easy to understand, as well as how to mix in combine herbs. So use of weapon wheel, and I guess use of herbs as well is more, I wouldn't say it's more interesting, but it gives you the option to decide what type of vials you want to create through different herbs. So that's kind of different. Not that big a deal, but the 4 things are the main one I'm talking about. The R3, the map, the movement, and of course the sensitivity towards aiming, as well as the uses of melees. And if not for the uses of the melee, I would say for how the story was set up with regards to the demo. Him showing Leon entering the village, stating how he came here, and the backstory showing him and Krauser and the president, and then showing the, where's everyone going, bingo, and showing Hunnigan. And so everything from RE4 is here, back here, and present, and kept alive, and improved upon. That's better than RE4, except for one thing. I would say Hunnigan is that one thing. They could have just kept their face within the comm box, doing radio transmissions or broadcast feeds like they did in RE4. Just made it look different, or make it look better. But I don't know, because this is a demo, so maybe they will do that. And showing Hunnigan's body fully is just one aspect of it. So far so good. So far so good. If I was to decide between the demo of the original Resident Evil 4 and this one is obviously superior in every way, except for Hunnigan. So I would say Hunnigan would take it down from a 10 out of 10 to a 9.9. And maybe just one other thing other than that. If I miss something and there is something less superior than that of RE2 remake or the original, maybe there's just that one thing that would knock it down to like a 9.8. But so far, based on this demo, it's that 9.8. It's that 9.8, 9.9. The chainsaw guy was still intimidating. He still ran forward. He still did the executions. There are various different type of executions from the regular folks who are infected, as well as from the chainsaw guy. I like the fact that there's various different death animations for different characters as well. And it's all these little things that are added up. All these little things that are added up to making the game better than the original. So yeah, I would say if this game demo is, if the entire game is as good as this demo, if the entire game plays like this demo, and a lot of features are included, and a lot of things that you could create, and a lot of things you could craft, and it has melee combos, and then Hunnigan pops up with her intercom broadcast feed as well, and a lot of things that were janky in RE2 remake that got fixed in RE3 and then got fixed here as well. And then this will be the best out of the entire series of the remake series, and probably will be the best out of the entire Resident Evil as a whole series, hands down, regardless. But it all depends on how the beginning, how the story is. Story is the most essential part when it comes to anything that you do, whether it's an animation, whether it's a movie, whether it's a television series, whether it's a game, whether it's a book. You have to get the story down packed, and then you have to work everything else around it, because two things that are required for more than anything for a game to be really good: its mechanics and its story. If its story is great, then its mechanic has to be great. If its mechanics is great, then the story has to be great as well. If its mechanics is bad but its story is great, then the game is like a half and half thing, and some people will like it and some people won't. Now, also vice versa. If the mechanics is great but the story is terrible, then that's also a half and half. Or vice versa, if the story is terrible, mechanics is great. So basically, that's what I'm trying to say. And then those little Easter eggs and little additives to increase it, to fluctuate, to go up and down, things that you could take away, blurs, animation, behaviors of character, how you reload, how fast you move, how things look realistically, the reward system, difficulty of the enemies. All these things have to be factored in. So far, for Resident Evil 4 demo, called Chainsaw Demo, it's looking promising. Very good. If the game is like this, the entire game is like this, I will not be disappointed. And this will instantly go up as my new Resident Evil 4, if that's the case. So that's it for this video.